Hello and welcome to another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. I'm Wayne Highlander, National Sales Manager for Bona Adhesives.
And I'm Rob Johnson from Bona Training.
How are we doing today, Rob?
I don't know, Wayne. How are you? This
I'm
seems like
fine.
it's going to be a very angry episode.
No, I'm not angry. I said I like to be prepared. We're gonna
buddy.
air our dirty laundry in front of everybody now, or should we?
Let's see a nice big smile. Let's see a big Wayne Highlander smile there.
Smile.
There you go. Atta boy.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So, what'd you do this weekend? You showed me we were together in Nashville.
Yep.
You showed me some nice fish.
Yeah. I'm learning my electronics better and better as I go along with my bass fishing, and so I got on a big school of bass. And it's really been fun with the electronics, trying to figure them out. So, yeah. So got a little bit of fishing
Well,
in.
you know, it was funny. You were showing me your electronics. And I don't know. I think it was maybe 7 or 8 years ago. I bought a Humminbird fish finder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when you were showing me pictures of your electronics, it was kind of making me laugh compared to the electronics that I had. You know, yours looked like something out of NASA.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And
you could see.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I actually think that it's going to get to a point in fishing that the electronics are too much. That there's just too much. That's changed the game completely. It's all about computers now. It's all about that electronics. That there's guys fishing now tournaments that don't know anything about seasonal patterns, that don't know anything about the life cycle of a bass, but they know electronics really, really, really well. And it's changed the game. And I don't know if I like it. So
well, the electronics that I had, like I said, yours looked like something you would see in NASA, X-rays and stuff.
Yeah.
Mine just had like little fish floating around.
Yeah.
Some would be bigger fish, but it was really like the shape of the goldfish, the goldfish you eat.
Yeah. Yep.
And they would be bigger and smaller.
Yeah.
Right. And I'd be like, yeah, they're right there.
Yeah.
And
don't believe none of that.
So my cousin and my son started fishing with me. We always all fish together. But when I got this new fish finder, I was like, yeah, it's there, right there, right?
Yeah.
So they were just starting to really mock me and laugh at me. And finally, Bum says to me, he goes, Dad, why are all the fish going the same way? And it was like they'd be floating by on this, right? But never anybody going this way.
Yeah.
It was always
Mm-hmm.
always that way. I said, oh, geez, I don't know. And then it got to the point where we really weren't catching fish when we saw them on the fish finder. So they said that it's probably some guy laying in bed in Brooklyn who's just kind of typing it in on a computer and getting you all jazzed up and everything, about this fish finder.
Well, you're not alone in that, because I would conservatively say 90% of the guys that have fish finders don't really know how to use them. Nowhere near to the extent of what they can do. It's true.
I was definitely one of them. Yeah.
All right.
I use mine more as a depth finder than.
Yeah. Well,
I can't go over there. It's too shallow.
Yeah.
See the fish finder?
You're almost better off in some cases. If you don't know how to use them, they'll drive you out of your mind and ruin your day. So it takes a long time to get to use them properly.
It came with quite an extensive book, but
yeah. Go on YouTube. All right. It was really good to see you yesterday in Nashville, Rob. We were both there on a mission, and I am so excited about it, man. This has been a long time coming, and we are starting out with a new training center in Nashville, revamping it, doing the whole 9 yards, a new location. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. First, I want to give a shout out to Mike Betts. I mean, this is kind of a sad day, but it's also a great day. Now we're getting a brand new training center in Nashville, but then we're going to miss an old friend. I mean, we're still going to see him and everything.
Oh, yeah.
but just to give a shout out, and we had Mike on a few shows ago. Um, just one of the best guys I ever met in the industry. And, our training center was um, in part of his building. He rented or he, let us have a section of his building. And man, I think we were there for 6 or 7 years.
Well,
And
I'll tell you how that happened. I was as a territory manager in Nashville, and I wanted a training center. I wanted my own training center. We have training centers across the country, but we didn't have one in Nashville. It wasn't in the budget, and it was in nobody's plan to have one there. But I really, really wanted one. And since it wasn't in the budget, I didn't. It was an expense, obviously. So I was telling Mike, I was driving with him, and I said, Mike, I'm looking for a place in Nashville. I can have a training center, man, but it's probably a long shot. If you just keep in mind, if you see something, let me know. He goes, I know the perfect place. I said, really? He goes, yeah. And he goes, the rent is going to be really, really cheap. I said, oh man, I'm interested. So he drove me around the block and drove me back up into his location. He rolled up the door and goes, here's your new training center. And I said, are you serious? He goes, yeah. I said, all right, man, this is cool. We'll do it. And like you said, he's been very generous. And we had some great schools out of there. Really, Nashville is a destination place now. There's no getting around it. It is one of the most exciting places in the country. There's so much to do downtown, so many great restaurants, so much entertainment. Music industry is there. To have a first class training facility there now, this is
I just couldn't be more excited.
yeah.
Yeah. And we have had some. I wish we could do like a video flashback of some of the crazy things that happened at the Nashville school, but the one that always sticks out in my mind was oh man, I'd have to look their names up. Remember the three kids from Kentucky
Yeah.
who brought the flamethrower
Burn
in,
the floor with a flamethrower. Yeah.
burned the floor, and we were doing floor burning, and they actually gave one to you and I, remember?
Yeah, I sure do remember that. Yep. Yep.
And I still hear from those guys a lot. They'll call me up and run stuff by me, but I do remember flaming up the floor, and you wanted to get a shot from the ladder, so you climbed up the
Yeah.
ladder.
Yep.
And I remember when you got to the top, the look on your face, you're like, we have to stop right now.
Yeah, that was not in the Bona playbook.
I guess it was that's when you really found out that heat really does rise.
Yeah.
There.
Yes. Yeah, well, that was a little bit out of out of left field, but hey, man, that's how you make things happen. That's how you find out where the boundaries are. You do it right before you burn the building down. So
Right. Yeah. Push
No.
it right to the limit.
Good.
I think sometimes our Nashville schools, we had more stuff happen after the school was over than it was during the school. Because
Yeah.
it seemed like when the school ends in Nashville, nobody really left immediately, because a lot of it, I think, was destination. So they would hang out, and I just remember those wood burning guys from Kentucky. They hung out, and
Yeah. We've had
That
so
was-
many fun classes down there. I mean, all the guys from Michigan and Pennsylvania that came down to the classes, and then they hang out and we go downtown and have a good time, and some really good location as far as a place to eat and everything. Like I said, and that hot Nashville chicken right down the road from us is a good time. And
you care for that? Do you eat that chicken?
it's funny. After I left you, Jeremiah and I went and stopped, and I got a piece of. I love fried chicken. I never eat it. Maybe once or twice a year. And I was there and went, "Doggone it, man, it sounds good." So I did, and I got the medium, which was too hot, like way too hot for me. And it was the medium. So
Yeah.
but oh man, I love.
When they say Nashville hot, man, that is a different kind of hot.
Yeah, when it comes back red, chicken isn't meant to be red. No, I don't know what they put on that, but that's a danger sign. Classes we have coming up in there for 2022. Man, with this location that we have now, the things that we're going to be able to do there, and not only with the wood floor guys, for sports guys too. If you want to bring sports guys down there,
Well, I think the layout that we have there, we're gonna have, on one side, we're gonna have a nice 25-foot run.
Mhm.
So we'll be able to bring sport guys in. We'll be able to bring the facility solution guys in. We'll be able to bring in some commercial contractors, who are looking to clean and recoat
You can do the key.
larger spaces. You can do a key with the sport guys,
Mhm.
Jansan guys. I mean, I just love having the size of that
Yeah.
that facility.
So,
Because on one side we're going to have a deck that's going to be about 16 wide by 25 long, and then on the other side we're going to have another deck that's going to be 25 by 10.
yeah.
So I think you and I had talked about also we're going to do a couple of temporary walls if we need to, so we can
Mhm.
break it down into 4, or we can keep it at 2 large. I think we're just going to have a lot of options that that we just didn't have before.
You want to talk about our who we have coming to work for Bona, or you want to hold off on that?
Oh no, definitely. I want to.
Can you talk about that
I
now?
don't know if we've mentioned it before, but Mike Dittmer is coming. He's going to join the training team. I think he actually starts Monday, November 1st is his first day. On a future show, I'd like to have Mike and Dee on, and
Definitely.
really let Mike tell everybody, the listeners and everybody who's going to be attending the bonus schools and everything, just hear his story.
Michael did.
And I think I'm really happy to, excited to have him and Dion. Just, it's really a new day for training.
Yeah.
For Bona to have a guy like Mike.
I think the world of him, and I think you have to put him in the top echelon of installers and floor guys in the country, and having him come to work for Bona, and everything that he brings to the table with all his years of experience and his teaching and his knowledge. And he's such a humble guy that it's just going to elevate the classes, and it's just going to be so much fun. And I mean, what a team. I mean, you guys are it's going to be a run, man. It's going to be pretty cool.
I mean, I just, there's just so many options now that we'll have. I mean, we really, it's really just been D and I for a couple years now. And to have a guy like Mike coming in, we can really start to dial in different types of trainings. I mean, we're going to have another hand on deck, but a guy like Mike, we're going to be able to do some expert stuff now. We're going to be able to do some individual color schools, install schools.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, one thing that we get a lot of calls about now is, coating chevron and herringbone floors. It's just, boy, that just came so fast in the last couple of years. And with Dittmer now being able to come in and with you, I think too.
I mean, you think?
I know you want to do some adhesive glue down schools, which I've been,
Yep.
Been wanting to see and do for, years now, because I know that there's just such a huge group of guys out there like myself, especially in the Northeast, that now we really never did glue down. And now, with the wider planks and things like that, it's, it's a must.
I think the first school in Nashville is going to be an installation. We have to do an installation school with Mike. We got to have to do that. And that class will fill up in a heartbeat. And that's going to be at the beginning of the year. I don't know what the schedule's not put out yet, but that is a can't miss class if you want to do some training. It's just going to be off the charts. I make no bones about it. And Mike's a humble guy. If you heard me right now, he'd go, "Oh, stop talking about me. I don't want to, don't make such a big deal about me." But I just think he's one of these guys in the industry. When you meet him, you're like, "Man, I wish I knew this guy for a long time." I mean, he's just a special guy. So. Oh man, the elevating of the training on that aspect of it is going to be fantastic, man. He's going to learn a lot from you. I've said it before. I don't care. It sounds like a homer or whatever. I think you're the best trainer in the damn business. I've said it. I put the line starts behind you. As much as I, You made me mad before the
Thank you
show.
very much. I
You
appreciate
made me
that.
mad
Yep.
before the show started today, and I'm already over it.
Yeah, it
But
didn't take long.
I have to be honest. I think you do a phenomenal job, man, and you relate to people like no other. So I just think this is going to be phenomenal for us. And not only, I mean, this is a Nashville school, but there's going to be schools obviously all across the country. We'll go up into Canada again, do schools up into Canada, and do some different things. And you talk about excited about what's going to come in the training in the next year. I mean, we are all in. So it's going to be very cool.
Yeah, and I mean, now that we've added Mike to the team too, not to let the cat out of the bag here, but we're also going to get back really involved in the NWFA schools, and where Mike has been, I think he was working with the NWFA. Well, now he's going to be representing Bona at these NWFA classes. And when Dee and I were working on the schedule today, because we have Mike now, we added probably a half a dozen more schools than we did last year. So, the great part about having Mike now is we're just expanding training. We're just going to have more classes.
Yeah.
And, the other thing too about 2022 is really in the first couple of months, we're still playing a little bit of catch up, getting everybody who had signed up last year for classes.
Mm-hmm.
And because of COVID restrictions and everything, we really couldn't, we did as best we could, but we're going to have everybody caught up, within the first 2 months of 2022. And then that's it. The ball is going to drop and we're
Katie bar the door.
Yeah. And to have a guy like Mike joining the team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just going to be fantastic. Training is going to be really exciting next year.
And this guy, I mean, he works in a high-end market. He works in Chicago area. And like I said, what he brings to the table, man, it's just going to be fantastic for us. I'm stoked about it, man. It makes me, I've told you before, I miss the trainings. I miss being able to go to the classes. I don't get to do as many as I like, but we will start adding some more moisture mitigation classes as well. And that would get me in there, and we'll get Mike involved somehow, take advantage of his experience. So,
well, I think he's a piece of the puzzle that we've always been missing. A couple of years ago when we did our expert school, our expert install, the Bona expert install, and Dee says to me, "Hey, well, we're going to do our expert install school in November. I'd like you to head that up." And I said, "Dee, I'll be honest with you. I am not an expert installer. Okay. Expert install for me is a 3-inch and maybe a nice Brazilian cherry border or something like that. I said, that's the extent. I said, I can drop medallions, work a router. I can do things like that. I said, but I can't do Wayne Highlander stuff. Okay. I'm not there, but Mike is. So, I mean, he adds just a whole new dimension to. Now, if you want to put in a 60-lane bowling alley, yeah, I'm your guy, right? Or 12,000-foot gym, hell yeah, that little production, sure. But carving fish coming out of logs and stuff like that, that's a whole different mindset.
We'll throw some of those pictures up on the podcast and the channel so you can see some of those.
What, of a bowling alley or a fish coming out of the log?
The Bona Expert School we did. Yeah, a few years ago. We did a couple of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And they were great. I mean, but like I said, I'll go and facilitate and help out, and I'll be right there with them. But man, I can't do some of the things that these guys do. Actually, it was cool going to the expert school because that one, actually, Mike was an instructor at that.
Yep.
And Lenny Hall was there, and
we've had Jason
Elquist. He
Elquist.
Was so.
And
imagine that was the expert school that I got to help out at. Those three guys.
We had the guy that arguably had the most visible floor in the history of hardwood floors, Gary Horvath. Who did that iconic set of stairs. He was there and did a smoking.
Oh, okay. That was an expert school that you did with Bona.
Yeah.
I wasn't at that one.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
the second one there.
Okay. And so it's funny when you said about being there. Just I remember when I was an apprentice carpenter, and I just really green. I don't think I was in it a year, and they gave me this. This is your journeyman that you're gonna be working with, right? And it's a 4-year program. And this guy is the best guy on the job. Everybody said, "Oh, Doan is the guy, man. He's very, very difficult to work with, but man, you're going to learn a lot from him. You guys, incredible." So I was eager, and I showed up to work with him, and I said, "Hey, when you got so much energy, like, yeah, I want to go, but you don't know where to go. I don't go. I got all this energy, go 90 miles an hour, but I don't know where I'm going." And I said, "Well, what do you want me to do?" He said, "Well, just relax, kid." He goes, "Every once in a while, just I'll have you pull the shorts out of my ass. And other than that, just stay out of my way." That was my, and that's the guy who told me later.
That's your apprentice
That's
program.
my apprentice program. And that's the guy who told me later. He goes, "The more I teach you, the less I know," which was the mentality back then. Like, you know what I mean? He didn't want to teach me anything because, he thought somehow I might get his job. And,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, if that's going to happen, it's going to happen 10 years from now, the bare minimum. You're an expert at what you do, and I'm a journeyman. I'm an apprentice. So, yeah. Good.
Guys did in the old days. I think that's a huge difference. And I know we've had this conversation before, but that's a huge difference between the old timers and what's going on today.
Yeah.
I don't know if social media did that or
I
what,
think,
but so many guys are just can't wait to share
no,
and help out and call. You can just about pick up the phone and call whatever you see online. You could probably pick up the phone, call somebody and say, "Geez, how'd you do that?"
Yeah.
And
and you know what?
they do everything they could to tell you how they did it.
Social media didn't start that. You know who started that? The
Did you start that?
No, I didn't start that. The NWFA started that. I credit the NWFA for that. And maybe
Oh,
NAFMA. I don't know. I wasn't around NAFMA, those trainings back then, but I guess either one of those or both of those, you could credit for that. So I have to ask you, Rob, and I told you I went out to the hot chicken place when you and I were there,
Yeah.
and I said goodbye to you, and hey, have a good trip back, and I'm going to take off, and I was headed home. I didn't invite you to go eat with me at the for the hot chicken.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, what the hell is that on your lip that I can't stop staring at? Is
I
it?
apologize to our faithful, but this is my cancer. Well, I'm cancer free now.
Oh, you are cancer free?
I am cancer free. They took it was called. I had Mohs surgery, MOHS
Okay.
surgery, and they go in and they cut a slab off and they test it.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they still find some cancer, they cut a little bit deeper
Okay.
and then test that. And you're awake while they're doing this, you're all numbed up and everything.
Yeah.
And they just keep cutting and checking. So that way they don't have to, cut down on my chin.
Yeah.
They can just cut enough off till there's no more cancer. And so with me, they had to do 3 slivers. And then on the 3rd sliver, they say, man, 3rd time's a charm.
Okay, and they got it.
They got it. And then, so what you're seeing now is like all the stitches and they stitched up and.
Okay, well, it looks painful.
It doesn't feel that bad. A little numb, nothing.
Okay.
Nothing too big, but
They
gave me all sorts of pain meds and everything, and I am definitely not trying to be a tough guy here, but I looked at Pauline and I go, what the I wonder if there's something wrong because I don't feel like taking any pain meds.
Yeah.
I don't feel anything, but
when I
knew that it was, superhuman. You know what I mean?
I guess I can tell you now, when I saw you in Nashville, I went in the bathroom and took some pain meds. It probably makes it easier for you when you travel, though, I would imagine, getting on planes. You got the whole road to yourself now.
Well, the good thing is I'm wearing a mask all the time. So
oh, yeah.
People don't know what the hideous freak is behind the mask.
Wow. You should drop the mask once in a while. Get close to someone, drop the mask, say, I'm sorry, what you got the time on you? And you'll have all the place to yourself. Yeah.
Do you have a gauze? It's weeping. I need to clean this up a little bit.
man.
And the stitches are they're not like regular stitches. I guess they dissolve or something. So every
Okay.
once in a while I can feel the stitches and
Dissolving.
dissolving. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad, in all seriousness, I'm glad that doesn't, you said that's not contagious, right? So it doesn't, like when I give you the bro hug, it didn't, no way any of that could have, I mean, I'm okay, right?
Well, it probably wouldn't hurt to go see your dermatologist.
Okay. All right.
You're a fair skinned guy like me.
Yes,
You're a
I am.
redhead and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Have you been checked? Do you go to the dermatologist?
Well, I went to one dermatologist once because Judy forced me to, and I just thought it was like a regular thing. And the lady's like, take off all your clothes, and like she's examining me, like, you know how like apes pick ticks off of other people, other apes. Like,
yeah, that's what they're supposed to do.
yeah, that's what she's raising my arm and looking at my back and everything. So I guess I checked out okay. But
Good.
it is a concern. In all seriousness, it is very much because I fish a lot. You say on the weekends, I've actually got gloves and all kinds of stuff that cover up now. I guess it's gonna be a freak.
Well, the guy who did all my stuff here, he said that this is a direct thing from sunburns.
No kidding.
And he goes, usually guys, everybody, and I can't go out in the sun without Pauline chasing me out and, and greasing me down with that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But even when you were kids and everything, everybody would always forget to do your lips.
Yeah, I never even thought. What do you do your lips with?
Well, there's like lip
Balm?
what like a chapstick that also
Yeah.
has sunblock in it.
It's awful.
So now I got that because he did say, oh, I saw something over here. He goes, it's not cancerous, but it's some blah blah blah.
Food from lunch? No, that's
some dried macaroni and cheese.
I had pizza for lunch. Yeah.
He said that's sun. He goes, you got a little sun damage, and he goes, it's always on your lower lip. Nobody gets sun damage on their upper. It's always on the lower. He says you got a little bit of sun damage there. He goes, so, make sure every time you go outside that you really, put that lip protection on with the sun blocker, or whatever they call it. And you're a fisherman, yeah.
Well, that's the selfish part of me because when I hear you, I'm just thinking, what are the effects of me? So now when I got to start remembering to use more, as I'm bad about it, to be honest with you, the sunscreen and stuff.
Oh, I'm the worst.
I remember we worked with a guy. You worked with him too. I won't say names, but he was out of Texas, and he used to use like moisturizer cream on his face all the time, and he was a half-assed, good-looking guy. But he's like in his 30s when we knew him. Whatever he would use like moisturizer on his face and all kind of stuff like that. And I used to go, "What's the matter with you? You're from Texas. Why are you coloring your hair and using moisturizer, man? I mean, that's what are you doing here? You're from Texas." He goes, "What's that got to do with anything?" I just don't see John Wayne or anybody using moisturizer on your face. But maybe the guy maybe he had something. So, all right.
Yeah, when he doesn't have one of these at my age.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's a trade-off.
Something else that's going to be great about having the Nashville Training Center. And don't get me wrong. I mean, my home training center is one in New Jersey. Okay. And man, we have just had some spectacular schools there. We had great information. We've had lots of fun. I think one of the ones that sticks off my head in New Jersey, we did the Christmas school where the Bona instructors dressed up as elves. I dressed up as Santa for a morning there. And, we've just had some great schools there, but it's really not like, hey, you know what I'm thinking? I'm going to gather up all my guys and we're going to fly out to Newark, New Jersey and go to the school and have some great times at night. Okay. Manalapan, maybe not the place to go.
Well,
New York City is still about an hour and a half away.
Yeah, I was going to say you could still fly your wife in and stay the weekend.
You could do that.
Yeah.
But man, for a guy who wants to bring his guys out, have some great times at night. I mean, you and I have talked about the music scene at Nashville, the food, the music, what's that main street where everything happens?
Broadway.
Broadway.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Not that tough.
What a crazy name that is,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah. Who knew?
Right. I mean, I said it before, it's one of the only places I've ever seen Pauline sit down, listen to music, and have a couple of drinks. You know, and it's, I mean, I've seen so many crews. It does seem that a lot of crews come down from Pennsylvania. Have you
Yeah.
noticed that?
Well, I'll tell you what, there's some great contractors in Pennsylvania. I love those guys, man. I've had some of my best times there with those guys out at night and doing stuff and hanging out and getting to know those guys. Yeah, good folks, man.
So, I mean, that's what I just love about this Nashville is we're just going to have an absolute kick-ass training center where guys can come down, get some really great training during the day. And then at night, you bring your guys out and show your boys a good time, you know?
I think we cannot finish this podcast, and we're getting to the end here without mentioning Jeremiah Strong, our territory manager in that market, who does a phenomenal job. I mean, a really, really good job. And his territory goes down into Alabama and Mississippi and Louisiana. He'll bring some of those guys back up for the training. And like I said, I'm stoked about it, man. I'm a little bit jealous, but I will damn sure be there for those trainings for the first one, especially the installation school. I don't know what it's going to be. It'll be sold out. I mean, probably before it's even announced. So you heard it here first. So, okay. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. And I appreciate listening. And this has been another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. Please do stay tuned for another episode.